Hello, everybody. I am so excited to be having this conversation with you and with Maya. And we're going to be talking about why is sales a spiritual practice? You may have heard it before, sales is service, but really, what does that actually mean? Is it just some jargon that we're all saying, or can sales actually be service? Can sales actually be spiritual? And so we're here to open up that conversation, to really go deep and dive deep into it. Maya, being a spiritual soul business coach, she knows all about how sales is service. So I'm just really wondering, Maya, why is sales a spiritual practice according to you?
I love this question so much. So, just a step back, I have been in sales, marketing, and PR for about 14 years in the corporate realm. And as I have stepped more into my own spiritual practices, I have found that it is ultimately a mindset shift and intention behind how you are providing information to your buyer. So, why is it a spiritual practice? There are so many reasons why, and I will be covering a minimum of 3 points in our discussion on Friday. But one of the three, the first, why is sales even service to begin with? And the reason why it's service, how you can help someone become a good buyer and a confident buyer is that your job is to help them find clarity in where they're at and where they want to go. And so when you can help them get clear, because a lot of people, if you notice, they're very indecisive, right? Like our school system is really teaching people to just be a robot in an assembly line or in a cubicle, right? And so that critical thinking or that connection to your own desire and what you want to create is really lacking. And so when you help someone get clear on that, what you're also helping them get clear on is what is the next step that I need to take in my life right now to get to where I want to be. And so if your service, if what you're providing is the next best step, then that's awesome. That within itself, you enroll them in as a client, and that is service. If your product or service is not the next best step, but you know there's something else based off of their journey, that it needs to be something else, then you have done your job as service to help them get to where they need to be because they came to you for a reason. Just because the next best step right now is not your service does not mean that it is not 3 steps further. And they will always remember how much clarity you have supported them with, that they will be back. They will also be referrals. Like the best marketing strategy for your business is referrals. If they're getting this much clarity and they know that you're in integrity with exactly what they need, they will refer people to you. And so really getting into that mindset of sales is service. The second thing is that saying yes to a product is saying yes to change. And so when you're giving someone this clarity around what is it that they need, a really simple example is, let's just say food. Like right now you're hungry and you want to be full or nourished. So what is the change? I need to buy food, right? Like I need to buy groceries or I need to go out to dinner, whatever it is. So that's a very simple example. It's saying yes to, I need a change. So on a bigger scale with coaches or a service, right? It's like a very simple one is like, let's just say you're a money coach. This person is not financially happy where they're at. They're in a scarcity mindset. They don't have a savings. Where they want to be is to understand how to invest, to have a savings, and to overcome their scarcity mindset, to have an abundant mindset. That's a very clear. You probably had to help them get there, but that's the clarity phase. But then it's about saying, getting clear on, do they want that transformation as well, and saying yes to it. And so in this, a part of you being this, the seller as a spiritual practice, is that you have to be aware, is this person even willing to change? Because you will also find when you're on this path of selling that a lot of people love to vent, and a lot of people love to be in that cycle of like being in their own misery, right? And you'll notice that when they start repeating their stories, their stories are excuses, and they continue, you will get clarity on knowing who's willing to change and who wants to stay in this cycle and is not ready to make the change. And that again is also that service aspect, that spiritual aspect. And the last overall of what like spirituality means, right? Because a lot of people will correlate a spiritual practice to meditation, to journaling, rituals, for example. And so how do you turn sales into a spiritual practice or embody it in that way? And so when you look at sales as a whole, what you have the ability to do is to communicate clearly, to articulate what is it that you provide. From that ability to clearly articulate, you're really getting confident in yourself. You're creating a leadership position within yourself as well. It is a practice of being grounded in who you are and your offering. So those are just three key points that I wanted to go over today, and we're going to go over a lot more on Friday, but I know I've shared so much, so I would love to hear like what all came through for you.
So much information, so much wisdom, and so much came through. I kept kind of just hearing the word lack coming through, as that's really what you need to check yourself for before heading into these calls, and that's really the difference, I think, between sleazy sales and service sales. If you're going into that conversation ready to serve, because you know that if that client is meant for you, they will be for you. And if that client is not meant for you, maybe you are still part of their journey and in supporting them on gaining some form of clarity before they move into the next step of their life. And so really tuning into that for yourself before you head onto that call. Am I here from a place of fullness? Am I already seeing myself as enough? Or am I trying to get this client to fulfill my ego? To boost my ego, because then we're going into that conversation from a place of desperation and trying to force the sale to prove that we are worthy, rather than sitting in there, showing up from a place of service and letting things flow. And I love what you said about confidence within yourself and communication as being the key. Really understanding that, yes, I am selling myself to you, not because I want something from you, but because I want to give the universe the opportunity to see what I have to offer so that I'm able to serve where I am meant to with the value that I know I have. And that is a very abundant feeling. So stand in your power, stand in your confidence, stand in your leadership, and show up, giving yourself permission to communicate, but understanding that it is not about the sell. It is just about you showing up and creating space for others to receive it. And so that is really what came through with everything that you were saying, Maya. Thank you so much for breaking it down into those three pieces, really the service, but also sitting in communication and transformation, everything about change. And so with that, I can keep talking forever and going into this, but let's continue this conversation on Clubhouse upcoming Friday, 3rd of December, 8 a.m. Pacific Central Time and at 5 p.m. Central European Time. We'll be diving deep. Please bring your questions, bring your wisdom. If you have experience with sales or discovery calls, tell us about them. What was your experience in these calls? How How were you standing there? Did you feel confident expressing yourself, expressing your offer? What came up for you? Let's discuss it. Let's work through it. And let's get really clear so that we can support our clients on getting really clear too. So I'm really, really excited, and we'll see you all on Friday.
Yes, I have to add, I know that we're like running so low on time, but I really just want to share with you what you guys are going to learn on Friday. We'll be actually giving you the tools and the practices to really understand the difference between what it means to attract clients and to chase clients. We'll also be giving you pre-practices of what it looks like to show up before a sales call. We'll be giving you practices. So pretty much what I'm getting to is that this is beyond just a discussion. Ayana and I are all about giving you the tangible tools that are easy for you to implement today so that you can walk away and implement this into your business right away. So we're so excited to see you on Friday, and namaste.